Hi everyone! Welcome back to another My Little Pony custom tutorial. This video is a compilation of the Pie Sisters Pinkie Pie, Marble Pie, Limestone Pie, and MAUD Pie. The first Pie Sister that we're gonna make is Pinkie. It's best to use a Pinkie brushable pony so you won't have to repaint her coat and cutie mark. Prep the pony by cutting off all the hair and removing the eyes with nail polish remover. I'm gonna cut out the shape of her mane from this large sheet of clay. This opening is for her ear. I'm gonna start cutting down the top right side of her mane. This cut is from the bottom right to the back and over to the left side. Now going up the left, behind the ear, and to the top of the head. This is what it looks like after attaching and shaping it on her head. Let's move on to her tail. Roll one end of a log of clay to make it pointy. Now curl the pointy end and slightly flatten the rest of the tail. And trim off the excess clay with a diagonal cut. That's it for the sculpting part. These images are from the episode Party of One where she goes bonkers because she thought her friends forgot her birthday. It's up to you which expressions you want to give your Pinkie. There are many to choose from, but I'm gonna go with this one. I started by painting on a white oval but without this top part. Then used black for this long check mark, medium blue and light blue for the iris, black for the pupil, two white ovals for the highlights, and black for her eyelashes. I'm using this really pretty bubblegum pink color for her mane and tail. Alright, she's all finished. What do you guys think? Don't those angry eyes and flat mane make her look the complete opposite of the usual silly and upbeat Pinkie? Next up is Marble Pie. I'm gonna use this Pinkie brushable pony figure since Marble doesn't have a horn or wings. Before beginning, cut off the hair and remove the cutie mark and eyes with nail polish remover. Now we can start sculpting the parts of her mane using clay. Cut out the shape of her side mane from a thick sheet of clay. It pretty much looks like the shape of a leaf. Then cut out a long triangular shape to create a gap. Press a long rectangular strip onto the back of her head and down one side. Then press on the side mane and blend it with the back mane until seamless. Now we're gonna cut out the shape of her front mane. Her front mane comes down to her muzzle. Press the top half onto her head and blend it with the top and side mane so that it becomes one whole piece. For her tail, roll one end of a log of clay to make it pointy. Curl the pointy end and slightly flatten the rest of the tail to the thickness you want. And trim off any excess clay. That's it for the sculpting part. While the clay pieces are baking, I'm gonna paint her coat a really light grayish green color. My camera isn't capturing the actual color of this paint. All you see is gray on camera, but off camera there's a tinge of green. Moving on to her eyes. Start by painting on this shape for the white part. Use black paint for her eyelashes, 4 different shades of purple for the color part, and black for the pupil. And finally white for the highlights. I'm not gonna paint her other eye because it'll be completely covered by her mane anyway. Marble's cutie mark is 3 marbles, so first paint on 3 circles using a grayish purple color. And then use a darker grayish purple for the details. For her mane, I'm using a dark grayish green color. I'm using light grayish green for her streaks. The streaks in her side mane alternate, so I'm gonna paint the first one, skip the next one, and skip the next one again. I painted on these really dark grayish green lines, 1 at the front, 4 at the side, and 1 more at the back. Don't forget to paint the inside of her mane. You'll still see part of it when it's on the pony. For the tail, use the same 3 colors as the mane. Glue the tail to the pony after it completely dries. And she's all finished. Marble's cutie mark is by far the easiest cutie mark I've painted. I really like the design and colors of her mane, especially how the dark lines define her streaks and make her mane look less flat. Next is Limestone Pie. I'm gonna use this Pinkie brushable pony figure since it doesn't have a horn or wings. Prep the pony by cutting off all the hair and removing the eyes and cutie mark with nail polish remover. Once that's done, we can start making her mane using clay. Make these 2 teardrop shaped pieces for her back mane. Press the small piece on top of the large piece. Blend them together and shape it to get something like this. Cut out the shape of her side mane from a rectangular sheet of clay. This will be the hole for her ear. Now I'm cutting out the shape of her front mane. Attach it to her head and blend it with the back and side mane so that the mane is one whole piece. For her tail, roll one end of a short log of clay to make it pointy. Flatten it a bit, curl the pointy end, and trim off any excess. That's all for the sculpting part. Let's start painting. I'm using a grayish purple color for her coat. Once again, my camera isn't capturing the actual color of this paint. I promise it looks exactly like the color of her coat from the show. For her eye, start by painting on a half oval using white. Yellow-green for the iris, black for the pupil, black again for the eyelashes, and white for the highlights. Then do the same for the other eye. Limestone's cutie mark is a lime sliced in half and 2 stones. Start by painting on the shape of the lime using yellow-green. Green for the details, light yellow oval inside the green oval, and green for the details inside the light yellow. Now paint on the shape of the 2 stones using light gray, and gray for the details. I'm using light gray for her mane, I've painted on the details in the back, side, and front part of her mane using dark gray. There you go, all finished. I really liked how Limestone turned out. I think she's one of the ponies that have the coolest mane. Who do you think has the coolest mane in Equestria? And finally, MAUD Pie. Once the pony is ready, add pieces of clay to her body to form the dress. Then smooth out the edges. Now, make her belt by adding a strip of clay around her body. Then, add another strip of clay around her neck to form the collar. This is the part of the mane that goes on top of her head. And this is the part that goes on the back. It was difficult to make the top part of her mane exactly the way it is in the TV series because the distance from this pony's forehead to her ears is quite far. And her forehead is really round, so I tried to sculpt the mane the best I could. If you don't like this style, then you can sculpt her mane any way you like. Let's move on to the tail. Sculpt it so that one end is narrower. This will be the part that attaches to the body. Once you're done, use this tool to add some textures to the tail. If you don't have this, try using a toothpick. Alright, let's start painting. I'm going to start with this gray color for her head and legs. So I've painted on 2 more layers of each color. You'll need more or less layers depending on how thin or thick your paint is. I've painted on the eye on this side and started on the other one. Begin by drawing on the shape of her eye to use as a guide, and then paint on her eyelash. So I went ahead and painted on her pupils and reflections. Once all the painting is done, protect the paint by applying a layer of paint sealer. After the sealer dries, glue on her tail using super glue. Apply sealer to the tail to protect the paint. Alright, this custom MAUD pie is now finished. That's it for this video. Stay tuned for more and thanks for watching.